There were these two encounters that convinced me to do the Indian management knowledge workshops. During the corporate days, I used to have almost every year several workshops on the Indian. Those days we used to call it Indian system of management, and subsequently I have got around to calling it Indian management knowledge rather than Indian system of management. Um, there are two encounters that convinced me that there is a need to continuously do this. One was with a elderly CEO of a cement manufacturing company. This gentleman attended one of our programs. I think it was in Madras Management Association or one such institution. And later he said, "How is it that I missed this all this while?" I asked him why. Then he said, many of the concepts, when you explain it from the Indian management perspective, I recognize this is what I practiced. But during my course of my career, I have always felt that whatever I practiced was not according to the management that was taught to us. What I practiced is contrary to some of the management principles, but I adapted many of these because I felt these were practical. When you present Indian management or from an Indian perspective of management, I recognize that perhaps this is what I was practicing. And I felt so empowered that what I felt was practical is actually got a theory behind it, right? So this is the first encounter that convinced me that there is a need to especially talk in terms of the Indian management uh, as a body of knowledge. The second one encounter was with a career guidance cell, head of a career guidance cell of a very prominent engineering college right here in Chennai. It's an elderly gentleman who was a principal of a college earlier in Kerala and then moved to Tamil Nadu. He had taken up a honorary position. So once I was invited to give a talk among the engineering college students. And after my talk was over, it was in the house of one of the uh, students, and about 30 of them. This gentleman was sitting right at the back listening to me. He must have been in his early 70s at that time. After the talk was over and the students had all moved away, they were having I think a meal or something. The hall was empty, so he came to me and then he told me, "I am angry with you." I was like, "Why?" And he says, "Why didn't I meet you before? That's why I'm angry with you." They're like, "What?" "Yes, I'm angry with you because I should have met you before." But I kept telling myself that what I think is the way to do things in this country is wrong. That's not what the management profession or management education is teaching us. This is not the way to do this. And throughout my career, I ended up making these mistakes. And now I'm retired and I'm doing a honorary job here. And now you come and tell me that whatever I thought all my life was right. How terrible is that? Why didn't you come into my life before? Why didn't you come to my life before? Was his question. To me, these two are very strong encounters that I've had as validating why we need to study the Indian management systems and Indian management practices and principles in depth in this country. Because a lot of people out there are practicing it and being told by the knowledge that they have gained, by the education that they have gone through, that whatever that they are practicing probably is not the right way to do it. Maybe it is not the efficient way to do it. Maybe it is not the way to have a high impact. But they see that something else they're doing is actually having an impact, but it has not been named. At least they are not aware that there is already a huge body of knowledge that has created this. So that is why we are trying to say, can we talk about this?